nice addition to Fiddler now is the Fiddler Core, which is the ability to add HTTP and HTTP tracing capabilities into a .NET application. So basically the core functionality of Fiddler has been pulled out into a .NET assembly so you can leverage that functionality inside your own applications. It's useful when you want to use Fiddler-like functionality, but you don't need the UI. It's very similar to writing a Fiddler extension, so it's not hard to do if you have experience with those. The first step is to download the core from this URL. Then you create your application and add a reference to fiddlercore.dll. And you'll primarily then use the Fiddler application object, focusing on the before request, before response are two of the most popular methods that we'll use. To show another fun example of using Fiddler Core, what I wanted to do is, if you remember the autoresponder module, we were able to capture the top 100 leaderboard page, make a change, list Fiddler as the top course. Then when anybody requested this URL while that Fiddler was running, it would respond with that canned file that said Fiddler was number 1. Well, I decided that that wasn't enough for me. I looked at the list and noticed that Scott Allen had a lot of popular courses on here, so what I wanted to do is use Fiddler Core to create a simple console app that while that app is running, it will replace his name with mine. So let's take a look at how we would write that. So this is just a simple console application. Once I downloaded Fiddler Core, I just added a reference to fiddlercore.dll. One of the notes about Fiddler Core compared to Fiddler is by default Fiddler Core is not keeping track of all of the sessions, so it's not keeping track of the requests and responses that have been made. If you want to do that, you can create a simple list of Fiddler sessions, which is what I'm doing. And in Fiddler Core, we're going to use the Fiddler application class. So one of the properties on that class is the before request, where I can attach events that will fire each time a request is about to be sent up to the web server. So in this case, I want to tamper with the responses, so I need to set the buffer response to be true. Otherwise, by default, Fiddler Core would be receiving the response from the server and immediately streaming it down to the web browser. By buffering the response, it's going to capture that entire response. Then I set up my before response delegate, and in here all I'm saying is I want to replace Scott's name with mine. And then I set up a quick delegate so I can cancel out of my app. I tell it I don't need to decrypt SSL. And then I have it start up on a random port and set itself to be the system proxy. So as long as I start this console app, it will register itself just like Fiddler does to be the system proxy. So my web browser will notice that, pick that up, and route traffic through Fiddler Core. That now all of Scott Allen's courses, his names have been replaced with mine. He's got a lot in here as I scroll through and see my name, so if only it were that easy. But anyways, it's just a fun example of how you can take advantage of Fiddler Core by adding that functionality into your own application when you don't need a full user interface.